Hi class, today we're going over section 1.6 and 6.1. We are looking at two-dimensional figures and angles and polygons. The first thing we want to cover is a polygon. A polygon is an enclosed figure. This is enclosed by segments, and segments are parts of lines, right? And lines are straight. So it has to be completely enclosed. What we don't want a polygon that maybe has an extended side, because it has to meet from endpoint to endpoint, and if you notice this big old piece there is missing. We also don't want it to have a piece missing like this, where it's not enclosed all the way. So those two there are examples of what a polygon is not supposed to look like, okay? So our polygon, a good example, is located here. When we name a polygon, you're always going to go around your shape. For instance, here's the name of the polygon. They started at G, H, J, K, L, and M. And it doesn't matter where you start, you would just go around your shape and name the polygon. The points where they meet at is called the vertex. That is, I guess you would consider that the corner. That's where two segments meet, and only two segments should be meeting there. All right, here is a list of some names of polygons that we should know and that you will need to know. So if we don't know the names now, you do want to start having these memorized. We have a three-sided shape is a polygon. A four-sided shape is a quadrilateral. Some of you are going to want to use rectangle and square. We can't use that yet, okay? So right now, if I ask you for a four-sided shape, your answer is going to be quadrilateral. A five-sided shape is a pentagon. A six-sided shape is a hexagon. And a seven-sided shape is a heptagon. It is an octagon, a nonagon, a decagon, a hendecagon, and a dodecagon. The list does continue. We're not going to have you memorize the rest. Anything past 12, what we're going to do is, depending on the number of sides, we're going to call it an n-gon. For example, here, a polygon with 15 sides is going to be called a 15-gon. So if I tell you we have a 15-gon, how many sides does it have? 15, okay? All right, these three vocab words are going to be extremely important. Two of them we already know. Equilateral, we should all know, means that all the sides are equal. Equiangular, we should all know all the angles are the same because we've already studied these two. Now, the new one is going to be a regular polygon. When you take an equilateral and you add it to an equiangular, you get a regular. So if we wanted to, you could say that an equilateral plus an equiangular equals a regular, if you wanted to, right? You don't have to add that to your notes, but it's something there. So if you read the definition here, it tells you it's a convex polygon. It's a convex polygon when an equilateral and an equiangular are together, okay? So if you look at the sides here, all the sides are marked the same, but the angles are not. I mean, we can look at the angle there. This angle looks just a lot bigger than that angle right there. Same thing with the sides here. This side we know is not congruent to this side here. It's obvious that that one is equal. If we look at the last one, we can see that all the sides and all the angles are marked the same. So this is what we would consider a regular. So we'll be using these vocabulary words on the right side. On example 1, it says name each polygon by the number of sides. Then classify it as equilateral, equiangular, regular, or irregular. And our irregular is going to mean neither. So here, if you look at all the sides, are all the sides marked the same? Yes, right? You have 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1. So we know it's equilateral. But look at your angles. Are the angles marked the same? No. So we're going to go ahead, and this is going to be an equilateral triangle. But we skipped the first step, so let me backtrack real quick to that first step. All right, so we needed to look at the number of sides. How many sides does it have? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. What is a five-sided shape called? A pentagon. So it's a equilateral pentagon or pentagon that's an equilateral. All right, look at the next one. Let's look at how many sides it has. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So look at your little list. What is an 8-sided shape called? An octagon. Good. All right, let's look at the sides. Are all the sides marked the same? They are. Good. What about the angles? Do they all have the same marking on them? They do. So when it's both, When it's equilateral and equiangular, what do we call it? We call it a regular. So this is actually called a regular octagon, would be the proper way of arranging those words. A regular octagon. All right, we're gonna do the same thing in example 2. In example 2, it says classify the polygons, be as specific as possible. So are all the sides the same? Yes, they're all 2s. Are all the angles the same? Yes. So this is called a regular. And then we look at the shape. How many sides does the shape have? 4 sides. Good. So what is the proper name for a 4-sided shape? Remember, I told you specifically that we're going to call this a quadrilateral. All right, when we look at B says, here we have a rack that's shaped like an equilateral. What does equilateral mean? That all the sides are the same. Good. All the sides are the same. So we can go ahead and mark all the sides the same. Then it says find the length of the side and then find the measurement of the perimeter. So the very first thing we have to do is find the length of the side. Well, we don't even know what the side is, right? We have 2 equations there. But what do we know about these 2 markings? What do they tell me about the 2 sides? That they're equal. Good. And anytime anything's equal, how do we solve for it? We set it equal. Good. So we're going to take, our first step is we're going to take 4x plus 2, and we're going to set it equal to 6x minus 4. All right, I'm going to move, I always move the smaller x over, so I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. That's going to give us 2 is equal to 2x minus 4. All right, let's go ahead and add the 4. So now we have 6 is equal to 2x. Then we'll divide by 2. And your x is going to be equal to 3. So we have what x is. But we have to figure out what the side is. So for the second step, I'm going to go ahead and plug it in to figure out the side. So I'm going to come back over here to figure out my side. So for the side, this is my second step. I'm going to plug it into either formula. It doesn't matter which one. I'm going to plug it into the bottom since I'm down here at the bottom. So I'm going to do 6 times. This is 6 times x minus 4. What is our x? Our x is 3. Good. So 6 times 3, take away 4. 6 times 3 is 18. Good. 18 take away 4. What does that give us? 14. So 14 is your side. So now my question is, if this side is 14, what's the length of this side? 14. Good. And this side is also 14. So the second question said, first question said, find the length of the side, right? Find the length of the side. We did that. Next one says, find the measurement of the perimeter. So we're going to take the side. We're going to take the 14. And we're going to go ahead and multiply it by how many equal sides? 3. Good. 3 times 14. Our perimeter comes out to be 42. All right, let's go and do the next thing. So here we have the polygon interior angle sum. It's actually the interior angle sum of any polygon. All we're going to do is we're going to find the total degrees inside. Now we should all know that a triangle, how many degrees are in a triangle? 180. Good, right, 180, always. So there's this formula here where n represents the number of sides. So everyone wants to write this at the bottom. N equals the number of sides on the polygon. That if you take the number of the sides of the polygon and subtract 2, and then you multiply that by 180, you will get the total degrees in any shape. So let's try it with the triangle real quick, just to see, right? 3 minus 2 is 1. Multiply it by 180. 1 times 180 is just 180. So we plugged in the number of sides of the triangle, 3 sides. Take away 2 is 1. 1 times 180 is just 180. So let's go ahead and do it for this other one that's here in the box. So let me just erase this so it's visible. You're going to take all 3 angles. You're going to take angle A, B, C, D, and E. All the angles. They should all add up to a certain amount. What's the amount? Let's figure that out. So what is 5 minus 2? I'm going to plug in 5 for my n, right? Because I have 5 sides. 5 minus 2. What's 5 minus 2? 3, good. What's 3 times 180? It should be 540. So the five-sided shape, this shape right here, should equal 540 degrees. Now we can do this to any polygon. So in example 3, we're going to do the same thing. It says find the sum of the measures of the interior angles of a convex 14gon. How many sides does it have? It has 14. So n minus 2 times 180 is the formula we're going to use. So if it's a 14gon, how many sides does it have? 14, good. So that's what we're going to plug in for n. So we're going to do 14 minus 2 times 180. 14 minus 2 is 12, good. 12 times 180 is 2,160 degrees. So that's how many degrees are in a 14gon. All right, so look at example B. You still want to find the sum of the measures of the interior angles of a convex 18gon. It's an 18gon. So when I write out the sum of interior angles formula, what am I plugging into my n? The 18, good. So we're going to do 18 minus 2 times 180. What's 18 minus 2? 16, good. 16 times 180, 2,880 degrees. All right, when you're ready, we'll go over to the back side. All right, over to the back side. So on letter C, it says find the value of x in the diagram below. So these have two steps, because first thing you have to do, well, unlike a triangle, do we know the total degrees in the shape? No, right? So the first thing we have to do is figure out the degrees. So for step 1, you're going to do the formula we just finished doing, right? Because that lets us know how many degrees are in the shape. So n minus 2 times 180. And how many sides does it have? This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So I'm going to plug in 5. 5 minus 2 times 180. What's 5 minus 2? 3. Good. 3 times 180 is 540 degrees. All right, so then for the second step, again, we want to know what this x is. What's the value of that x? For the second step, we're going to use that 540. For step 2, you're going to add everything inside. So I'm going to start with 120 plus, this is 90, plus another 90, plus x, plus 107. All of this should equal 540 degrees. So look, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want to make sure you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 angles in your equation. All right, so let's add like terms. I'm going to add 120, 90, and 90, but also the 107. When I add those together, I'm going to get 407. The x was the only x, right? We're just combining like terms. All of this equals 540. All right, to get the x by itself, we're going to subtract the 407. So x is equal to 133 degrees, and that is your answer. Okay, so on these types of problems, this number right here, it's going to change. It all depends on the number of sides you have. All right, let's look at letter D. On letter D, first we're going to do is decide how many degrees are in that shape. So for step 1, we're going to look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 sides. So what's the formula we use? N minus 2 times 180. N minus 2 is, what's our n? Our n is 8. So we're going to do 8 minus 2 times 180. What's 8 minus 2? 6. Good. 6 times 180. That's going to give us 1,080 degrees. All right, so this is what we're going to use for the second step. Now, this is a very long equation, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it on top, and I suggest you do the same thing. I'm going to start with this equation, and I'm going to go around that way, okay? So I'm going to do n plus 30 plus n plus 134 plus n plus 16 plus 126 plus n plus 161 plus n minus 12. all of it equals 1,080. Okay, it's a long equation, right? But I did it up there, that way we have room. All right, so we're going to combine like terms. I'm going to take one n plus another n plus another n plus this n plus this n, and I'm going to add them together. How many n's do I have? They're all 1, right? They're all 1 n. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 n's. All right, so we're going to take this. We're going to bring it down here. Step 2. We're going to say 5 n's plus, now we're going to add 30 plus 134 plus 16 plus 126 plus 161 minus 12. Make sure you take that minus. This is a minus 12. All right, if we add all of that together, we're going to get 455. This is going to equal, what is it going to equal? What did we get from the first step? 1,080. 1,080. All right, from here it's just solving. Let's subtract 455 from both sides. 5n equals, this cancels out. 5n equals 625. Let's divide both sides by 5. Our n is equal to 125 degrees. All right, and these types of questions are going to be the ones that have the most work, okay? These are when you're looking for the angles inside. Now we're going to look for the angles outside. This one is looking at exterior angles. Exterior angles are outside. Now, the good thing is that no matter how many we have, they're always going to equal 360 degrees. So like I said, we already did all the work we needed to on the notes. These here are pretty simple. You're going to ask yourself, are the angles on the outside of the shape? And they are. Look, this angle's on the outside, this one's on the outside, this one's on the outside. None of them are inside the triangle. Well, all of these, no matter how many you have, should always add up to 360. That's what that last rule finished stating. So we're going to add the ones that look the same. This is going to give us 220. All right, we'll subtract 220 from both sides. So x is going to equal 140 degrees. Good. All right. Let's do the same thing with the next one. Again, it doesn't matter. Look, this one has 1, 2, 3. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4. This one has 4. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to take 105. It doesn't matter where you start. You just want to make sure you write them all down. Plus 40, plus 105, plus x. What does it equal when they're on the outside? 360. All right. Again, these are the easier ones. All right, we're going to take all the ones that look the same. Let's see, we have 105, 40, and 105 again. Let's add these all together. That's going to give us 250. All right, let's subtract 250 from both sides. And this is just x, and x is equal to 110 degrees. And that's your answer.